is the solution to the Java MOOC course, Java Programming First Part, Part 5, Exercise 516, named Dating App. The programming exercise has been divided into 3 parts, and the programming exercise provides us a base class simple date, in which the date is stored with the help of the object variables year, month, and day. Now moving on to the first part, the programming exercise asks us to implement the method public void advance that moves the date by 1 day. In this exercise, we assume that each month has 30 days. Right? In certain situations, you need to change the values of month and year. So let's expand this class. Okay, so this is our base class. First of all, let's create a method public void. What was the method name? It's called advance. Okay, advance. So what this method does, this the day is equals to this dot day plus 1, right? And if this dot day is greater than 30, what we're gonna do is this dot day equals to 1, right? And this dot month is equals to this dot month plus 1. And again check another condition. If this dot month is greater than 12, then what we're going to do is this dot month is equals to 1, and this dot year plus plus. Okay, I think that's it. So let's go into our main program. Let's create simple date. Let's name it test 1 equals to new simple date, and let's give it a value of 30, 11, 2011, and simply called test 1 dot advance, and let's print test 1. Let's run this code. So simple right here. Let's run this code. We have the day becoming 1, month increased by value of 1, and 2011. Similarly, if we give it a day of 12, and let's try and run this code, should be 1/1/2012. Okay, so we have successfully completed the first part. Now let's move on to the second part. We need to advance specific number of days. Implement the method public void advance in how many days that moves the date by the number of days that is given. Use the method advance that you implemented in the previous section to help you in this. So basically this part makes us to use the concept of function overloading or method overloading. So first of all, let's create the method advance, but we are having a variable of how many days, right? So let's copy all the code that we have here, right? And what this basically does is this dot advance by a value of 1. Okay, let's paste it here. Now this the day plus how many days is our variable. This code kind of works here, but what if we have been provided with a value, let's say greater than 30? What if we have been asked to increase the number of days by 64 or maybe even more, right? So in that condition, what we can do is, let's say our date is currently 28.11 comma 2011, right? So let's comment this out. Okay, if this is our date, then we want this to be increased to by a days of 64. Okay, then let's just make it once for our own convenience. Okay, so this equals to 64 means 2 months and 4 days later, so this is going to be like 5, right? 12 becomes 1, and this becomes 2012. So this is what our output must look like. So in order to do that, what we can think is, let's say we have this a day now, which was initially 1, is now 65. So in order to get to 5, we have to subtract 60, right? So equals to, so this has been 65. Now we are going to subtract a 30, resulting in 35, and another 30 resulting in I guess 5. Okay, yeah. So what we are doing is we are reducing by a value of 30, that is a month. So let's just create a while loop while, let's say, this dot day is greater than 30. What we are going to do is this dot day, sorry, this became days. Okay, this dot day is equals to this dot day minus 30. Okay, so our 65 now becomes 35. So what has happened here is our month has increased by a value of 1. So this dot month is equals to this dot month plus value of 1. Now also, if this dot month has now become greater than 12, then we are gonna set this dot month is equals to 1 and this dot year plus plus. Okay, and let's omit this code. So I think this now quite solves our problem. Okay, so let's go into our main.java and simply write 64 and give it a date of 1, I suppose, 1/11. Okay, now let's run the code. We'll be getting output of 5/1/2012. Okay, yeah, we did get that, right? What if we are just giving it for the day of 30/11/2011 and simply doing this? So now what happens here is this becomes 31, right? So our final output is 1/12/2011. It's correct. So this becomes 31. So yes, our day is greater than 30. So our day now becomes 1. It becomes 1. And our month is, which is value of 11, now becomes 12. And our year, since our month is not greater than 12, is equals to 12, so this condition will not be run and we get the output. So yeah, we have successfully completed the second part as well. Now moving on to the third part, it says passing of time. Let's add the possibility to advance time to the simple date class. Create the method public simple date after number of days. So as you can see here, the method has a return type of simple date. Okay, so what we are trying to achieve here is returning an object as a method's return value. So this is the method's name, but we are returning a new date which is of type simple date. So this is an object, so we are returning object in our method as a return value. So it creates a new simple date object. So this method right here, we can copy this, right? So we are creating a new method, this, for the class, right? Now it creates a new simple date. As we can see, this is a new simple date. object whose date is specified number of days greater than the object that the method was called on. Okay, so now the value of this new date must be greater than the value of the object that is called on by this many days. Okay, so we can still assume that each month has 30 days, and notice that the old date object must remain unchanged. So what this basically means is, as you can see here, okay, look, so if we print test 1 here, so what we are going to see here is the value of the object. So initially the value of test 1 was 30, 11, 20, 11, and as we call a method called advance for this object, the value of this very object has changed to 1, 12, 20, 11. So what this part asks us to do, that the older objects must remain unchanged. So even upon calling this very object, we should not have the value of the original object changed. So first of all, let's go into our class and let's copy the layout of the program, method, right? We have to do something. So yeah, so we are creating a simple date object, new date, right? Okay, and for the creation, this dot date, wait, how are we getting that? Day, month, and year. Okay, so this dot day, comma, this dot month, comma, this dot year. Okay, we have created a new date. Now what we have to do is we have to advance this new date dot advance by a value of days. Okay, and read a new date. Now let's just go in here and let me clarify this for you. Okay, so let's also create a simple date, and let's name it test2 equals to test1. Okay, so what happens if we print test2 here? Okay, let's simply cut this line and let's write that line here, simple date test2 is equals to test1 dot advance, but this is a void, so this will not work. Okay, wait, let's do that right there, and let's try and run this code. Okay, so here as you can see that, okay, we had 2011 as our initial date, then we advanced, then we assigned the value of test1 on object test2, then we call advance option on test1, so resulting in 1, 12, 20, 11. So both the values of both objects has been same. Right now let's call test1 dot, we have our method after number of days, so let's call this days and let's call it for 64, so resulting in the same 5 1 2012. Right now what happens if I call this? Okay, let's see this out, let's check it out. So first of all, we have 1/11/2011 as our initial date, then we're calling simple the test2 to increase this date by a value of 64, then we are calling test1 at advance, so this increases by a value of 1, so our resulting output on this line should be 2.11.2011. This is what we get on printing test1. But on printing test2, what we are getting is this method after number of days returns us an object of the type simpleDate. So we can assign that value to this test2, which is also of type simpleDate, but we are increasing the value of test1 by a number of 64 days. So our output will be 512012. So that's all the program here asks us to do. Okay, so now let's try and submit this and see if we met the desired solution. And as you can see, we have passed all tests on the server, so we have successfully completed the programming exercise. Now if there are any questions regarding this, you can ask me down in the comment section. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on the solution of the next video.